listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, episode 428. Hey there, you amazing human, and welcome to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, the podcast that is designed for female entrepreneurs who want to make more money in a way that is in alignment for them. If you're looking for practical advice, proven strategies, and expert insights to help you navigate the challenges of growing your business, then you've come to the right place. Welcome, my friend. I am your host, Angela Henderson, a proud Canadian living in beautiful Australia, and I'm a business coach, consultant, and strategist who has helped thousands of women around the world build successful businesses. Through solo episodes and interviews with successful business owners, industry experts, and thought leaders, you'll get insider insights into what it takes to succeed in today's digital age. Whether you're struggling to scale your business, looking for ways to boost your productivity, or seeking ways to overcome the challenges of being an entrepreneur, this show has everything you need to succeed and more. So subscribe, pop your headphones on, and get ready to creating the business and life you deserve today by allowing the Angela Henderson Online Business Show help you create a winning strategy, develop the right mindset, and build lasting wealth. Hey there, you amazing human, and welcome back to another awesome podcast episode of me, your host, Ange from Angela Henderson Consulting, where I'm a business consultant, podcaster, and speaker who has helped thousands of women around the world create a personalized business strategy and scale their business. Now, today's episode is a little special because I'm handing over the mic to someone I deeply respect when it comes to all things team, leadership, and sustainable growth. And that, my friend, is the amazing Chrissy from GrowAdvantage. This episode is part of my Takeover the Mic series, where brilliant business owners and thought leaders step in to share their expertise through a sponsored feature. I'm all about connecting you with powerful voices and valuable insights, and Chrissy is bringing both in spades. Her episode is titled, Stop Trying to Hire Unicorns and Build a Real Team Instead. And it's going to completely shift how you think about hiring in your business. Because here's the thing, if you've ever found yourself saying, I just need to find the right person, or I wish I could clone myself, you're not alone. Trust me, I've been there. But that kind of thinking, it's part of the unicorn myth. And it's one of the fastest ways to burn through money, energy, and patience. In this episode, Chrissy breaks down why expecting one person to do it all is a trap and what to focus on instead. She's also going to talk about the difference between job design and just writing job descriptions and why getting this right is a game changer. And the truth most people miss, the right hire in the wrong system will still fail. Your structure matters just as much as your team does. So if you're hiring now or thinking about hiring soon, this episode will give you clarity, confidence, and a completely new lens on how building a real team actually looks. Let's dive in, get your pens and paper ready. Here's Chrissy.
Well, hello, I'm Chrissy, and I am so excited to be taking over the mic today on Angie's podcast. So a massive thanks to the amazing Angela Henderson, who is handing me the mic. Now, if we've not met before, hello, I'm Chrissy, and I am the founder of GrowAdvantage. So I am a hiring, leadership, and teams expert, and I have a hiring, leadership, and teams operation consultancy, and we focus on supporting service-based business owners to stop being the bottleneck in their business and to go from stuck to scale. So before I worked in my own business, I worked across massive Australian organizations, Westpac, MBNco, Optus, you name it. And I helped build, scale, and manage complex teams and hiring systems. So really, really big teams, really big budgets, and really big stakes. And for the last 3 years, I've taken that expertise and I've brought it into small but mighty service-based businesses. The ones like yours that are scaling like wildfire but running on fumes behind the scenes. A little bit about me that is not the elevator pitch. So I am obviously a Pom, you can hear from my accent, but I've been living in Australia for 16 years now. I was that ultimate Pommy backpacker that never left. I am now a mum to 2 beautiful kids, and I absolutely love what I do in business. I mostly work from home on the central coast of New South Wales, but I occasionally travel to different cities in Australia. So I will, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see what I'm up to. And I would love to get to know you. So today, I am here to talk about unicorns. Yes, unicorns, mythical creatures. I have a 3-year-old daughter. She's totally obsessed with unicorns. And I'm sure you're asking, why is someone who's just explained they're a hiring team and leadership consultant, why am I talking about unicorns? Well, just yesterday, I went on Like-Minded Bitches Drinking Wine, that Facebook group. If you live in Australia, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but it is a Facebook group for female entrepreneurs. And when I typed in the word unicorn, I had to scroll for 5 minutes and there were posts everywhere. It was people saying, I am looking to hire a unicorn. And here's the thing, unicorns don't exist. So let's talk about the idea of a unicorn hire. Now, I'm sure you've seen a post like this, like the ones I'm explaining. I'm looking for a unicorn VA, must be great at admin, marketing, social media, customer service, sales funnels, content repurposing, editing podcast, and must love dogs and must get my coffee. It's completely unrealistic. What are you doing if you are even thinking about posting one of these adverts? It's not a call for a hire. It's not a call for a service provider. It's a freaking fantasy novel. And if you're nodding right now because you've even thought about posting one of these unicorn posts or you've seen them, breathe. I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to challenge you. Because here's the truth. Unicorns don't exist. And I'm telling you why you don't actually want one if you are serious about scaling your business. So expecting one person to magically fix your systems, clear your inbox, build your funnels, run your events, and post your Instagram every day, that is the fastest way to burn money, patience, and quite frankly, good people. And if even worse, if you're looking for an external provider, so an agency, a service provider, a VA agency, to solve that problem for you, that is downright scary. And the worst part of the unicorn piece, I'm sorry, I'm on an absolute rant, is you are posting this in front of your peers, in front of your clients, and in front of potential hires. So that Facebook group that you're posted in saying, help, does this type of unicorn exist? That is where your next client and your next team member are hanging out. Even worse if you put it on a job advert on Seek. You're not just looking unprepared, you're looking reactive and completely disorganized. Because that's what unicorn hiring is. It's reactive. It's hiring from stress and it's not hiring from strategy. And here's where people go wrong. They think they need that one perfect person. But what you actually need is a proper team, or I'm going to slip into a little bit of HR ops speak, an organizational structure. So if you're hiring before you're drowning, pause. Before you post in another group or throw up a random Seek advert or Munster advert if you're in the UK, get clear. What's the actual problem you're trying to solve by looking for this person? Just scratch that last sentence. What's the actual problem you're solving? What outcomes does your business need? Is this a short-term task or is it a long-term position? And where does this role fit into your business in 6 months, in 12 months, and in 18 months' time? We don't just need to hire for today. We need to hire for where your business is going, where your vision is going, where your CEO role is going. That's what real strategic leadership looks like. And notice I'm not talking about a person, I am talking about a position. And there is a solid reason for that. Now, let's get into the nuts and bolts, role design and job descriptions. Because if you're going to build a real team, you absolutely need both. First up, role design. Now, I love talking about role design. If you follow me on Instagram, it is something I talk about all the time. When we design roles for our business, we are not doing that with an individual person in mind. We are building a position that fits into your business, fits into where your business is going, that is going to support you in your role, that is going to serve your clients. It's a position. And people move in and out of positions because it's 2025 and there is not a job for life anymore. So we need to create positions. The positions can evolve and grow and that is okay. But we're not molding a position to an individual and their skill set because it's risky. If that unicorn, and that is a unicorn, you found some really obscure person and you're creating roles in your business based on their skill, if that unicorn disappears, it's going to be really, really hard for you to replace them. So we need to design positions in your business that make sense. Positions that are sustainable, they've got a clear purpose, and they are actually replaceable. That is absolutely key. Now, I've got a little analogy for you that I explain to all my clients. If you think of your business like a football team, yes, a football team, not a soccer team. I'm British, British born and bred. And let's use my football team. So I'm from near Liverpool in the UK. My team is Liverpool FC. They've just won the Champions League. Woo! But if you think of any soccer or football team, they have 11 players. They always have one goalie. They usually have one striker. And every single position has got a clear role to play. Now, let's just say your goalie gets injured or your goalie is planning to retire. What do? You're not going to shove your best striker in goal and hope for the best. You are probably, these are $1 million clubs, right? But they are already thinking about if something happens to their goalie, how will they replace them? They've got probably a bench of talent. They're looking out in the Premier League to see who else is a great goalie. But they've got a plan. And the goalie role is clear. You need certain skills to be a goalie. You've probably trained. Liverpool's obviously not going to hire someone from a Sunday kick-around team. They're going to hire the best in the league. They're going to go out and find another goalie. Someone trained, someone qualified, and someone ready to step in. Now, what they have done is they've documented their playbook, their tactics, and how Liverpool do things. And then they're going to bring a skilled person into their team and teach them their way of doing things. This is exactly the same thing in your business. So for example, if your ops assistant leaves, you hire another ops assistant. You don't try and morph your content offshore virtual assistant into a systems expert. That is how people burn out and your business stalls. And it's panicky. If you have robust hiring processes and onboarding processes in your business, yeah, it's not ideal when people leave. But also if you're managing your team, they're going to be open and honest about you, about the direction they want to go in. So if they're telling you you want career progression, they want career progression, and it's not going to happen at this stage or they're not the right person, you can have amazing, open, candid conversations with your team members. So I just want to be really, really clear. When we're scaling, we're designing positions, and even more so, we're designing organizational structures, right? So my brain literally thinks in organizational structures. You know what they look like? They're on the big page with the little rectangles, and you are at the top. You are the CEO. If you've got an executive assistant or a virtual assistant that works great for you, they sit to the side, and then everyone sits underneath you. And then over time, you may get a leadership team. That could be an OBM. And they might have teams sat underneath you, but you're the head. Everyone in your business needs a job description. And you need a job description too. So we're going to talk a bit more in detail about job descriptions. We talked about positions. This is where people tend to get confused. A job description, I want to be really, really clear, is not a job advert. A job description is internal. Yeah, sure, you might share it in the hiring process, but it's got multiple purposes. It's highly detailed, and it's absolutely your North Star for when you go to hire. So I always create a detailed job description or review an existing job description before I create a job advert. It's absolutely your North Star when it comes to hiring, onboarding, training, performance management, the lot. It's a vital document. And if you're thinking, crap, my team don't have job descriptions, they need them. Job descriptions cover what the position owns, what success looks like in the role, and what outcomes are directly linked to that role. Every single person, and when I say person, let's go back to position. A person should be given a job description, but the position should be linked to a job description. Hopefully that makes sense. So position, person goes into it. Person leaves, other person goes into it. It's not Sally's role. It's a role that Sally works in. Every single role in your business should have a job description, and including your role. And this is where it gets really exciting. Yes, even you as the business owner needs a job description. One for now and one for the CEO you are becoming, or maybe you're already there. Awesome. But as a business owner, particularly if you are scaling, your role is going to be evolving all the time. This is something I do very, very frequently with my clients. We work to understand what they're doing, what they love, what lights them up, how they spend their time, and we look at what would be their job description now and what would be their future job description in their true CEO role. Even if you're not there yet, if you start thinking a year, even a year ahead, we design it and we start making moves to get you closer to it, because that is why you went into business. You went into business to do something you were truly passionate about. But unfortunately, somewhere along the way, you probably got lost in doing lots of things in business that didn't light you up, and that, frankly, someone probably cheaper than you can do for you. I'll give you a real life example. So one of my recent clients, she was running a booming service-based business, and she actually posted in Like-Minded Bitches Drinking Wine, I am drowning, I am smashed, I've got demand for my services up to my eyeballs, and I need a unicorn VA to save me. Now my clients are all onto this. So they actually see the word unicorn and they start tagging me on these posts. You don't need a unicorn, you need role definition, and you need to really map out what support for you looks like. And what she'd really posted was, frankly, multiple roles mashed into one. So I got glowing reviews. The client came to me and we had a chat. The thing is, she didn't need one mythical being. She needed 2 clear roles. So what we did is exactly what I said. We designed her job description. We worked out how we could get her away from heavy delivery, heavy team inquiries, and heavy client inquiries. And what we hired her was an operations manager to sit directly under her. And this operations manager for her business was going to deal with client onboarding. We'll oversee it, or the team members could do this, of course, but they were going to oversee client onboarding, oversee client inquiries, and take on some process improvement. My client, who was the business owner, she wanted to do the really strategic growth of the business. She's definitely the face of the business. She's really front facing. She loves that side of things. She's from an events planning background. This ops manager was also going to be the main point of contact for her team. So if someone's sick, if someone needs to reschedule shifts, she was going to deal with that. She was also going to assign new clients to new team members. This role was a Monday to Friday role, and essentially was we worked out a 30-hour-a-week role. And that work my client was doing, and she was reacting. She was reacting to demand by hiring team members, by taking on more clients. And she was never getting out of the weeds from doing that. So that was hire number 1. We got really focused on my client's job description, and we put her into more of a strategic role. Looking at growth opportunities, she wanted to add extra revenue streams onto her business. And all she needed to do was fix this operations, fix this delivery. And this is actually happening. She actually came to me and said, I just want to take a holiday, but I can't because everyone depends on me. Does that sound familiar? If it resonates with you, that's good, because there is a way out. The second role we hired, she correctly identified she did need direct administration assistance. So we hired her a virtual assistant who managed her inbox, her administration, and her socials. Now, before we hired this virtual assistant, we created a very clear job description and job advert. So she didn't go helplessly out to market saying, I need a unicorn to fix all of my problems, which she did initially before she worked with me. But when we targeted it again, we were very clear on what we wanted. And then we built those systems for her inbox, for her administration, and her socials in-house. Because we did not want this particular virtual assistant was an offshore person. We didn't want this individual to own the processes. That is her business. She needs to own her processes. What she doesn't want is an external company owning all of the processes of her business. And I see this all the time. So if you're putting your hands up and saying, hey, I need a unicorn, and it's some service provider who owns all of your marketing, and then their agency blew up and they went away, or they drop you as a client, all of your systems and processes are taken. You want ownership of your systems and processes in your business. Of course, her operations assistant, operations manager, we designed that role really clearly too. She actually hired that person as an employee because it was a key role in her business. They initially started as a casual employee and then they were moving to a full-time employee. What we understood about her business is she is really, really in demand. So if she posts on her socials about her services, she gets snapped up immediately. If she posts in a Facebook group about her services, the demand's really, really high. So what we saw for her is she doesn't necessarily need to drive demand, she needs to drive supply. And the thing is, because of that, once we got this part of her organizational structure right, there was my client, the CEO, sat at the top with an ops assistant that managed X amount of client demand, so client inquiries, client processes, and X amount of team. We worked out she'd be capped at about 15 to 20 team, depending on if they were full-time or part-time. And then, because her service is so in demand, she can just keep cloning that structure. This is not the same for all businesses. Business coaches are another really good example. So for business coaches, particularly if you're the face of your business, it might not be that you need necessarily massive team to service your clients, but you just need all the delivery, all of the admin, all of the marketing, for example, taken off of your hands. So all of your time is free to drive your visionary energy onto working with your clients, being the face of your socials without all the finicky bits behind. So with coaching businesses, quite often you have a couple of offshore virtual assistants, for example, with niche skill sets. You might have a really solid administration or operations person, and then whatever you need to deliver your services to your clients that allows you to just step into that embodiment of being this badass business coach. We go back to the original example of my in-demand service provider. Her business is completely scalable. We mapped out these pods, as I said. Each role has structure, it's got a process, and it's got room to evolve. And for her, she's no longer the human glue holding it all together. And she came to me saying, I can't take a holiday. Everything relies on me. And she's booked a holiday. I want that for every business owner. Now, a really important thing to touch on is the right hire in the wrong systems still fails. Let's say you find someone truly amazing. So you've designed your role, you've created your job description because you've listened to this podcast episode, and you do find someone amazing. They're smart, they're skilled, they're full of potential. If your systems are a mess, if your processes are a mess, it doesn't matter. This amazing person will still fail. Because the right hires in the wrong systems is a waste of everyone's time. And this is where you always hear people saying, document your SOPs, your SOPs, your standard operating procedures. But here's the thing, and here's my hot take on that. SOPs are not the solution. I'm not asking you to build a giant Google Drive full of PDFs that no one's ever going to read. What you need are living systems. You need systems that are easy to follow, update, and improve. So in my business, we create SOPs as we go. We already have a system for everything, of course. That's how we're delivering to our clients. We're always process improving. We're sometimes building new technology in, but we document our processes as we go. And I give individual roles ownership of documenting these processes because I rarely do anything in my business solo other than directly speak to my clients. So everything behind the scenes is done, maybe with some involvement for me, but there's usually another team member that owns it and another position that owns it. So that individual would take ownership of documenting the process and keeping that process document updated. The process is the problem, what the current solution is, who owns the solution and how we can refine it, and then we document it, we tweak the current documentation, and as we go, we refine it. And to be clear, your job descriptions for each role in your business, each position in your business, they are living, breathing documents. So when you're having reviews with your team, we should be referencing those job descriptions. And if they're massively off, we talk to our team member about it and we refine the job description. We make sure they're on the right money. And we also work out if they're doing a whole nother section of work that isn't in their job description, we need to look and say, okay, well, are the processes documented for that? Because you are safeguarding your business in case that individual leaves. What we don't want is an individual person to hold all of the knowledge in their head and then, God forbid, they walk out the door of your business and they take all of your IP or all of your intellectual property, all of your knowledge with them. You need to keep knowledge inside of your business, not in someone else's brain and not in someone else's inbox. Because here's the thing, when you hire, a part of hiring and a part of having team is eventually they will leave. Turnover happens. It's fine. It's normal. It can be a really good thing. Life happens. But your IP, your knowledge, it needs to stay in-house. Building systems like this protects your growth. It lets you delegate with confidence. And it creates a team that can run the business without needing you every 5 minutes. And especially if they've had ownership in creating those processes. Now, before we move on, I want to give you one powerful concept that ties all of this together. It is the reason your hiring struggles aren't just about hiring. It's why unicorn job ads keep popping up. And it's why even amazing hires burn out. It's because you're trying to grow without structure, without true systems. That's where the GrowAdvantage framework comes in. Here's the truth. You can't scale a business with great people if the foundations of your business aren't right. My framework that we use with my clients has 3 essential points. So 1, strategic leadership. Because the business reflects the CEO. You need to be happy in your role. If you're reactive, if you're unhappy, your team will be too. You are the head. You lead from the front. And essentially, people want to look up to a strategic, amazing leader. And you are that person. You just need a little bit more definition and maybe a little bit more support. Number 2 is optimized delivery. Your systems need to actually work before you go and add more people to what potentially could be chaos. Otherwise, you're just adding to that chaos. So that is reviewing what's working, what's not, documenting if you haven't already, not making it perfect. And if you don't want to document it until you've got administration support, that's fine. But just be confident enough that you can talk to it, that someone else is going to be able to get it into a process. These documents are not static, they're always living and breathing because we're always evolving and we're always growing. And our offers change, our services change, our team will change, our clients will change. The 3rd point is maximized leverage. Now, hiring isn't just about plugging holes. It's highly strategic. It's about designing these roles, designing your overall organizational structure, and building roles that will scale with your business. Now, a hiring process, an onboarding process, absolutely key. But I've only got 1 episode on the mic with Angie's podcast. I can absolutely dig into that, and I do dig into that piece on my podcast, Vision to Grow. When you have all of those foundations in place, so strategic leadership, you as the CEO, optimize delivery, systems that actually work, and maximize leverage, the ability to hire amazing people through amazing hiring processes, you have the ability to scale your operations to serve more clients and make more money. Because when these things are working, your business stops relying purely on you as a business owner to function and starts growing without burning you out. Most people skip straight to the, who do I hire? Where is my unicorn? Let's find this one person to fix all my problems. But that's not you. Because you're going to, from now on, hear my voice in your head, hopefully, and think about the GrowAdvantage system, which asks, why are you hiring? How are you operating? And are you leading like a CEO? If you get this right, you won't need unicorns. You'll have a real business, a real team, and You'll have the CEO role that you actually want to show up for. So let's wrap up. Stop hiring unicorns. They don't exist. And even if they did, they'd be exhausted within a week. Start building a real team, which means designing roles that make sense, creating clear job descriptions for every position, including yours, and setting up systems that support your hires to succeed. If you're nodding along right now, or if you're feeling called out, seen, or a little bit attacked, that's great. That means this resonated with you. Now, at GrowAdvantage, I offer a few powerful ways to support service-based founders, but let me be clear. Particularly on this guest podcast, I am not here to convince you. I'm not here to dangle some sales funnel pretending to care. I'm here for the people this really resonates with. I'm here for the listeners who this episode really resonates with. The people who are done duct taping their business together, who are ready to step up, who are sick of pretending that hiring their mate's cousin is a team strategy, who are ready to truly elevate themselves into their CEO leadership role. If that is you, or if anything on this episode resonated, come and say hi to me. I'm Chrissy. My handle on Instagram is at grow_with_Chrissy, which is CHRISSY. I love a chat in the DMs. I want to hear your biggest takeaway, and if it feels aligned, come and have a chat with me. No fluff, no pressure, just straight up action. Because the truth is, most people will keep spinning in chaos. But leaders, true leaders, they will listen to this episode. They will totally get it. It will click, it will land, and they'll do something about it. Which one are you? An absolute massive thank you to Angela for letting me take over the mic today. I'm Chrissy. I'm from GrowAdvantage. All of my details are in the show notes. I so would love to hear your feedback on this episode. And if you want to hear more of my Northern dulcet tones, you can listen to my podcast, Vision to Grow, all about scaling service-based businesses. Now, go build a team that is not a fantasy. You've absolutely got this.
Thanks for listening to the Angela Henderson online business show, www.angelahenderson.com.au.